Hello! Welcome to Week 5 of Distance Learning, Module 9, Week 3. We have been reading from the module From Farm to Table. Let's start with some word work. This week we're going to be reading words that have the j or the s sound. The letter G makes the j sound when followed by the letters E, I, or Y. For example, garage, contagious, anthology. The letter C makes a S sound when followed by the letters E, I, or Y. For example, grocery, stencil, and decency. Let's practice blending and reading. Line 1. Fence, icy, ginger, acid, since. Tragic, plunge, scent, lacy, engine. Circus, giraffe, peace, stage, gym. Challenge, princess, hinge, cyclist, energy, region. Excite, huge, legend, voice. The secret agent had a reliable source in the city. The words agent and also source and city follow our rule because the letter is followed by E, I, or Y. Let's try some more. Cement, medicine, damage, tricycle, imagine. Privacy, allergic, icicle, urgent, balance. Gigantic, science, emergency, noticeable, gymnastics. Recycle, strangeness, celebration, generation, vacancy. Package, ecology, specific, engineer, geology. Thomas likes to exercise on a standing bicycle in the gym during fitness class. Amber had remarkable success in learning a new language. Take a few moments after the lesson is finished to come back and practice blending and reading these two slides. Next, we're going to work on our vocabulary strategy. We're going to continue practicing the strategy, context clues. Let's see if you remember our words from last week. Remember, context clues can help us by providing a definition of the word within the sentence. They can also provide us with examples that help us understand the meaning of the word. Sometimes, for example, when the sentence says not or but, that lets us know that the other words being compared to the first word that you're trying to determine the meaning of are opposites, or the other word is an antonym. When it says and or as, then it's comparing two words and letting you know they mean the same thing. The heat from the intense rays of the sun was scorching. So heat and scorching are synonyms. Let's see if we can use the context clues on these pages to figure out the meanings of the word in bold letters. For example, does a layout tell you what time it is or show you where things are? Read on page 23 and use the context clues before, in the same sentence, and after the word layout. I will ask you the meaning of layout in our Zoom meeting on Tuesday. Would you expect to find boats in an arbor? Look on page 326, use your context clues, and let us know what you think on Tuesday. If you transplanted something, did you move it or get rid of it? Look on page 329 and see what your context clues tell you. Is mulch something you plant? Look on page 330 and use your context clues to find out. Are you likely to find things blooming in the winter? Look on page 334 and use your context clues. Are kernels types of plants or parts of plants? Look on page 338 and use your context clues to help you find out. Let's go on to our new story. This week, we're going to be reading another informational text called It's Our Garden, From Seeds to Harvest in a School Garden by George Ancona. This is a quote from the end of the book. Compost is strained and mixed into the soil. The strawberry plants in beds are mulched with straw, and all is ready to be covered with a blanket of snow. Sleep tight, garden, until next year. Did you catch the metaphor in that quote? In that story, It's Our Garden, what do you expect to learn about gardening? Do you think this text will be fiction or nonfiction? What is the genre? And what is the author's purpose when he wrote this story? Remember, this week our strategy is going to be monitor and clarify. What does monitor and clarify mean? Well, it means that as you read, you constantly ask yourself, do I understand what I just read? If the answer is yes, then great, keep reading. But if the answer is no, and you don't understand a word you read, reread the word, look for context clues, replace it with a word you think means the same thing and see if it makes sense, to see if you're right. And if all else fails, look it up in a dictionary or a glossary. If what you just read doesn't make sense because a whole section of text is confusing, make notes about what confuses you. Think about what you know on the topic, and reread and look for details that you may have missed the first time. Are there any images or text features that can provide more information? So monitoring means checking your understanding of the text. And this is something we constantly do as we read. When you don't understand something, you need to make it clear or clarify. When you monitor what you read, you ask yourself if what you just read makes sense to you. When you clarify, you make it easier to understand. Remember, to clarify, you can use context clues, synonyms, a dictionary, or examples to figure out what the word means. Also, remember to use the visuals, your prior knowledge, and strategies such as rereading to make sense of confusing text. This is what monitoring and clarifying looks like.
readers ask themselves,
does this make sense? Have I learned what I needed to learn?
what does it mean to monitor?
Monitoring means that I watch something over a period of time.
What does it mean to clarify?
It means to clear it up and see if it makes sense.
If we monitor as we read, what can we do to clarify what we do not understand?
Read! Look at the pictures! Read ahead!
Monitoring and clarifying in action.
Once upon a time, there was I've been monitoring and clarifying, but I just don't understand the word. Oh, now I know. I see a picture of a ladybug. She was very nice. Each day, this bug, what does that even mean? That doesn't even sound like a word. Now let's see here. Ooh, I see some leaves there, and one has a biting mark. I'm gonna read ahead. 5 leaves. Now let's see. Now I know the evil age of the consonant. Oh, now I know 8. I'm about to reread so I can clarify this. Once upon a time, there was a ladybug. She was very nice. Each day, this bug ate 5 leaves. Now I understand it perfectly.
This little rhyme helps us monitor and clarify all the time.
Monitor and clarify. If it doesn't make sense, give it another try.
So, boys,
Try to monitor and clarify in your reading today.
that's what goes on in our head when we're reading and monitoring with clarifying. So, let's get started. It's our garden. I see the cover has a photograph. That lets me know this could be a nonfiction text. And guess what? I read ahead and it is. It's an informational text that gives us facts and examples. What do you think we're going to learn about planting a garden? Well, I see it says from seeds to harvest in a school garden. So it sounds like we're going to be learning about a school's garden. So probably students are the ones planting and harvesting what grows in the garden. And as I read, I'm going to be looking to answer this question. Who are the people in the photograph at the bottom of the page? How do you know? Well, let's see. The school bell sounds, and the classrooms explode with a noise of books closing, chairs sliding on the floor, and kids chattering. It's time for recess. The students head outside to the school garden. Mrs. McCarthy, the third grade teacher, dreamed of having a school garden. She talked to the other teachers, the principal, and the parents about it. They all worked together to make her dream come true. The garden is cared for by Miss Sue. Miss Sue's husband, Will, designed the layout of the garden. College students Paul, Daniel, Autumn, and Allie volunteer to guide the children in the garden projects. Oh, so if I had to make a guess, maybe this is Miss McCarthy, and maybe these are the college students, Paul and Danielle. Maybe this is Autumn and Allie, and they volunteer to help out the kids with their garden. I see layout is highlighted, and there's a little sidebar that has the definition. A layout is a drawing or plan that shows where things are or will be. So now I know who the people are in the photograph, and I know because paragraph 3 tells me exactly who they are.